Yo, my man Brian Smith. What's up, Sarge?
Oh my, is that my guy Sarge?
Yeah, that's my guy Sarge.
Yo, B Smith, what up, man? I
Yeah.
hope that man is doing very well, man.
And then somebody below him, Marco, said he was in the Army and wanted to start wholesaling. Now B Smith was not in the Army, but he just recently got out of the Air Force. I think he was a Master Sergeant. I don't know if he sold on senior or not. But anyways, he started. My man just went all the way in, and I'm proud of dude because he got rentals now. He has flips doing. He was able to buy his daughter a car for her graduation. He ain't got to worry about paying for college. And this is somebody that's 20 something years in the military, and found his path late in his military career, which is very rare that somebody is able to transition from long-term military personnel into civilian world and be successful, because the military can be such a crutch for you. But he says, question, do you all do many rehabs to refi to keep the property and pull the cash out? So where he is he's been wholesaling now, successful at it. And what he did was he took his money and bought rehabs, and he took his cash and bought rehabs. Now I know I personally haven't done that yet, where I've bought a property cash, rehabbed it, and kept it, as far as and refied it out. But I know that's a strategy I'm supposed to be doing. Because one, you don't pay taxes on a loan, in the sense that you put your money to work, you get the same money back, but you don't pay taxes on the money that you put out there. So that makes sense in the tax world.
That's a gem right there. That's a gem. Yeah, I've done that. It's a great way. The only caution that I would give every single person is please don't try to pull out the max value of what they're going to give.
Pull out what you got in it, if anything.
Yeah, just get back what you need to get back. Maybe a couple thousand or whatever the case might be. But too often I see people that, like right now, if you can cash out refi at 75%, they're constantly going and pulling out 75% on each property. I don't like that particular model. I think it makes more sense to be at 65% on that personally, just to have some hedge on your risk. And you want to be able to brace for impact for any type of market fluctuation or anything like that. And I think it's important to say too, because I feel like people confuse this or misunderstand this. Guys, cashing out refinances is not profit. All right. You're cycling cash back into your business. That is not profit. All right. A lot of people, they do these cash out refinances 75%, and they're moving with that money like it's profit, like net profit in their pockets. That's not what that is. You're borrowing from yourself.
So while you on the topic, somebody with T5, they said he's having a hard time understanding what the cash out refi is. Explain what it is.
All right. So a cash out refinance is when you buy a property cash, or you buy a property with financing. It could be either or: private money, hard money, bank money, whatever the case might be. You buy a property as a point. You purchase a property, you do a value add. So you increase the value of that property by doing repairs to the property. All right. Mm-hmm. So you may have bought that property for $100,000. Now it's worth, let's just say, $200,000, and you can pull out 70%. So you might be able to pull out $170,000. Okay. So that's doing a cash out refinance. You may be in at $100,000, but it's worth $200,000. So you can pull out 70%, up to 70% of the value of the house. So if that amount is, and my math may be completely off, but if it's 170, all right, then you cash out your 100,000, you got 70,000 in your pocket. But again, that is not profit. You're borrowing from yourself, and you will pay on that money that you cash out.
Yeah, so let me give you a quick example, and I'll try to pull out the calculator here. Let's just say a house is worth 120, and you paid 50 for it, and it needs 20,000 in work, right? So now you paid cash for it, 50. You put the 20 in work in it. It's now you got 70,000. It's worth 120. So now with the house worth 120, you go to the bank, which you own a asset that you added value to, that is now worth 120. When they do the appraisal, they say, oh, well, this house is worth 120. And what happens from there is you go to the bank and you ask for a refi. Basically, you're asking for a mortgage. It's not even a refi because you don't have anything on it. You're just saying, hey, look, I want to finance this house that I own free and clear. Now the bank will give you They've been doing some crazy stuff lately, but you know, I wouldn't leverage more than 70%, right? So you're talking times 70%, you can get $84,000 out of that house safely, and you got 70 in it. Me personally, if that was your cash to keep recycling, I would just take out what you got in it, you know, maybe a little bit more. So now you go out and you get a let's just say a $75,000 mortgage that you had 70 in it. Now you have a mortgage payment of $450. Well, that same house can rent for, let's just say $1,000 to be whatever. That same house rents for $1,000. You're paying the mortgage with $1,000 and you're keeping the rest as cash flow. And now what happens is your portfolio, if you stay like that, your portfolio will be at 70% and below. And you want to, as the longer you have the portfolio, you're paying off your mortgage own, and eventually you're going to own it free and clear. And instead of paying, you know, $400, $500 to the mortgage company, you're now paying zero to it, and you own an asset free and clear, which should appreciate over the years. This is what real estate really about. Whether you're doing it commercial, whether you're doing it residential, you're going to get into something that is undervalued, add value to it, go to the bank, get cheap money, rent it out. The difference between what you're paying the bank and what you're renting it for is your cash flow. And you want to repeat this process over and over and over again. Next thing you know, you got 15 commercial buildings, 100 single family units, or however you want to break up your portfolio. But then what happens is your net worth starts to become that equity that's in all your properties, right? So a lot of people say, we all see this meme that goes around, people say, oh, real estate is where the most millionaires is created. Now people thinking, oh, they wholesale and they flipping. No, that's not where it's created. Most millionaires in real estate are actually on their primary residence, right? You live in California, you bought a house 15 years ago. It's worth, you bought it for $400,000. It's now worth, $900,000, right? There goes $500,000 in equity. Right. And if you paid it down, that's how those people become millionaires in real estate. It's not usually active cash or actually real cash at all.
That's important.
Will you guys understand that? I mean, would you guys agree with that? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, that's important. I like the way that you broke that down. I think that's a common misconception, liquidity versus assets. Mm-hmm. Being a millionaire on paper is much, much different than being a liquid, millionaire. And I think that's important for people to understand. Cash out refinance, the Burr method, is a really, really good method of investing. My only advice, man, is you got to have a plan with it. There has to be some type of intent behind that strategy and what you're trying to achieve. And then when you get to that point that you talked about, where you got a portfolio of 15, 20 properties, whatever it might be, and you're maxed only at 70% on all of those, that difference, right, of 30% on that portfolio, you can now then leverage that into larger projects, apartments, commercial development, things of that nature. You can borrow against that portfolio and lend money out, become a hard money. Like, there's so many possibilities that are available once you set that up properly. Exactly.
Nah, that's 100. I know there was a question, Nas. I don't think you answered it. I know you do a lot with bank, and you do a lot. You don't talk about it a lot. You do a lot with banks and private money.
Yeah, with local banks, buy houses, renovate them, and refinance with local banks. Local banks are the way to go. The difference between a local bank and an internet company that works with investors, right? And when I say works with investors, means that you can refinance these properties in your LLC and not in your name, and the loan is sold to Fannie and, it's a Fannie and Freddie loan, and they sell it off, whatever, how that goes. But I work you with local banks. Most local banks are going to give you a 15-year amortization schedule. What that is that loan being paid off on a schedule of 15 years. And normally they're going to have a balloon. The balloon can be anywhere from 3 years to 7 years, depending on the bank. The balloon means that after that, your rate goes up to market rates. But in the fine print, it tells you that it can only go up X amount, whatever it is. Not like the last time when it can go at 3-4 points. No, nothing like that. So the internet companies, they'll do it on a 30-year AM. And so, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. And on the 30-year AM, what you'll see is that you get a cheaper payment. But a lot of those internet companies, they come with a lot of fees, a lot of unnecessary fees that local banks don't charge.
Yeah, but Nas, can I add to that real quick though?
Absolutely, bro.
Those internet companies can be good for people, especially if you got poor credit, things of that nature. The barrier of entry into those internet companies, Lima One, Vizio, Lending Home, that barrier of entry is going to be much, much lower from a credit perspective. Now, the interest rate on that kind of stuff is going to be, 6, 8, 9%. But the game is, because I know, like me, right? Like when I started, my credit was jacked up because I had American Express with 20 grand and I was trying to hustle PlayStation 3s or PlayStation 2s in college. Yeah, I was tripping, and I ended up scrambled eggs, right? But most of us start with lower credit, poor credit. These internet companies are a good opportunity because what you can then do is you can build up a package or a small portfolio with one of these internet-based lenders that will do 30-year amortization like Nas is talking about. And now you have equity that you can then go leverage, even with a lower score. You can take that and then go leverage it with the local bank. That local bank will then cash you out from the internet lender, all right? Lower your interest rate, so now your cash flow also increases. And oftentimes you've got equity that you can actually cash out in those scenarios and still have a lower monthly payment. So with the right strategy, using those internet-based lenders can be good. You just got to kind of know how to play that game.